Land of Milk and Honey was not milk and honey for me. Hi, all my beautiful book peeps. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day. Mine is pretty decent. I have no complaints. Let's talk about what I read in March, okay? Now, as you know, March was Women's History Month. I took that to heart, wanted to support my ladies out there, and that is majority of what I read, okay? So let's talk about it. So first and foremost, I read, what's that memoir? By Crystal Hefner called Only Say Good Things. I posted a dedicated video for that. Make sure you check it out. You know, she was Hugh Hefner's girlfriend. If you're, you know, familiar with Playboy, then it's definitely something you'd be interested in. Very interesting story. Also, you know, I'm participating in the whole banned book challenge and reading banned books. So I took it back to school and I read To Kill a Mockingbird, okay? Ooh, right here, there's actually a graphic version of that. I centered more on that. Check out that video. I also read Tell Me I'm Worthless. On one hand, it's about these two people. One's a transsexual that go into a haunted house and feel like they're haunted afterwards because of something that happened inside of the house. And then on the other hand, it's this sexual manifesto about like British fascism and political stuff, homophobia, feminist ideas, and, you know, all that trauma that goes around it. This book definitely just, it was a lot packed into this one little book. It was passionate, it was horrific, and it talked a lot about sex. Just a lot. I will say that it was okay, just definitely just wasn't my thing for sure. And this book that I read, The Land of Milk and Honey, okay? This book wasn't what I thought, okay? Pretty much you have this young woman that took a job for rich people cooking real gourmet meals, okay? The world has been covered in smog due to climate change, and so people aren't really eating real food because it's just not available. Crops can't grow, animals have died. So she's loving the idea that she gets to go on this hilltop, breathe fresh air, and, you know, cook real food. So it seems kind of like this utopia, but, you know, it might not be depending on, you know, how you view utopia. And then she starts to see like all this wealth and privilege, and that pretty much, you know, it could buy, you know, anything. Overall, this book, it was lush. It had like all these really tasty food descriptions. I mean, my mouth was watering even though I didn't even know what some of these foods were. But in all honesty, I found this book to be like just extremely boring and dull, and I just kept waiting for something to happen. But it definitely did have like a lot of good commentary on like wealth, privilege, climate change, culture, politics, and a lot of family ties. Just definitely wasn't what I expected, and I think it won some sort of award or is on some women's prize list or something. But yeah, Land of Milk and Honey was not milk and honey for me. And I also picked up a book on NetGalley, which is an African mythological fantasy, and it was adult, labeled as adult, but it read YA to me, but I really did enjoy it. It's set in Africa in like the 15th century, and you have this really beautiful young woman that is essentially kidnapped by this king and told she is going to be his bride. And she's not necessarily mad at it because, you know, she gets a come up being this bride of this king that legitimately actually loves her. Really quickly, but he actually loves her. So she starts to navigate her growing feelings for him and where her place in his world is going to be at. And she realizes that she wants to contribute more to this kingdom than just her uterus. And that is where part of the problem is. But the book was really good. It threw in a lot of shockers and it kept you on your toes quite a bit. It really pissed me off though that, so you have these blacksmiths, right, in the town or village or whatever, right, and they're women. Now, everybody needs these blacksmith services, but they are looked down upon and are treated poorly. I did though like the blacksmith sisterhood. I thought that it was very ideal in how they supported each other. And I liked how when Ododo, that's the young girl that, you know, married the king, I liked how they utilized her come up in marrying this king as a catalyst for them to look for change from themselves. But I really did enjoy this book. I think it was just a really good time, and I'm so glad that I picked up that book. I picked up, what else did I pick up? Oh, I read All the Men in Legos Are Mad. I've been wanting to read that book for going on like a year and a half now. I did not realize that All the Men in Legos was like a anthology of a bunch of different short stories. I thought it was one long format, but I really did enjoy it. It was like 12 stories and they were just a good time. It shows about the pitfalls of dating in Nigeria specifically, with a bunch of men that don't want to commit. Men are always trying to get something from you. Men that are scammers in a lot of different ways, you know, married men as well. Just a really fun time. I think one of my favorite stories is you have this one girl or woman that gets basically propositioned in this like indecent proposal type thing, you know, the movie, you know, and her husband like convinces her to do it and is utilizing all the riches to his advantage, but then he's looking down upon her, but he don't want to get a job. Just and then you have the man that is sleeping with his secretary, but then gets upset that his wife starts having her own little side thing. Just really good book. I suggest you check it out. It's a short book too, but definitely gives you a lot of different perspectives about dating, and I find that it's really not too much different from American dating as well. So, noted. Now, in March, I also got into some graphic novels, and I posted a video, I'll link it, for graphic novels written by women. So you'll see, you know, a few of these that are, you know, the same. But I picked this one up. This is called Curlfriends New in Town, and this is so stinking cute. This is a middle grade graphic novel about this young girl who moves with her family back to her dad's hometown. And her dad knows everybody, and she's, you know, feeling some type of way, feeling a bit, you know, stressed and jealous, if you go, from her dad, who seems to know all these people, and, you know, she doesn't really know anybody. And she hooks up with this group of friends, her Curlfriends, and, you know, it takes her a while to become her true, authentic self to get to know these girls. But it's such a cute book, kind of thick, but it goes very quickly. I really did enjoy this graphic novel a lot. Oh, then you have Getting Married and Other Mistakes, okay? And this is about, you know, a woman marriage implodes, and she's trying to get to know herself and who she is outside of that marriage. Very relatable for sure for anybody that has had relationships that, you know, didn't go the way they wanted it to. And then I read this 3-book series, volume 1, 2, 3 of Snotgirl, and this is so funny, right? So you have this girl, Snotgirl, right? What was her name? I can't remember her name. Lottie. Oh my gosh. I can't remember her name. Anyway, so you have Lottie, who is this really shallow girl with very shallow friends, right? But she's a social media influencer, that, you know, a fashion blogger, and, you know, she presents this beautiful looking life. Sounds familiar, right? And everything looks perfect. But in actuality, she's a mess. Her boyfriend has left her for somebody younger. Now, she's only like 25 or something anyway. And she has really bad allergies that she's trying to hide. But you know, she's navigating friendships, navigating finding love again. There's an LGBTQ reference. They have this thing called Haters Brunch, which I definitely want to go into. There's also some paranormal activity in here. You know, just a really fun time, and the images are absolutely beautiful, okay? Very bright, vibrant, and everybody's, you know, yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, y'all. Now you got Normandy Gold here. This one's like set in the 70s of this beautiful sheriff who looks just like Angelina Jolie, and she is investigating her sister's murder. And you know, you have prostitution and drugs. She goes undercover, you know, just a lot of really good fun time. I wish I had a sequel to this. I don't know if there's a sequel out. I know my library doesn't have it, so I just kind of stopped from there. But really fun time. This is like a movie right here. She's going around with a big knife and showing everybody who's boss. And she's not afraid to, you know, get into the trenches in there. One of the things I really did like that they talked about in the back of the book is that all these characters are modeled after like real life people and actors. Like I said, the one that looks like Angelina Jolie looks just like her. And there's a guy that looks like Robert Redford too. So you can really see those similarities there. Then you have Twisted Romance. Now this is actually an anthology of 12 different stories of love by different people. And this was a fun time. Like you have sci-fi and fantasy. You know, you have a lot of different representations in this book, and some mixed media format in here too. But really good fun time there. Now you have Life Sucks. Okay, Life Sucks. This is about a, I don't know what age this guy is. I think he's like young 20s. He's a younger guy, but he's definitely an adult. And he was made into a vampire. And apparently vampires can be wage slaves to their maker. So pretty much he works the night shift at this convenience store by his maker. And he's just hating his life because he works night shift at a convenience store and can't do anything more, doesn't make a lot of money, all that jazz, right? And then he meets this wonderful woman who he likes a lot. She has like this goth vibe going on. She doesn't know he's a vampire. And then his vampire brother, you know, tries to woo her as well as him. So he's just really just hating life because this douchebag is just kind of putting on airs, and you know, this girl seems like she's falling for it. But it was a really good fun time. I can't say I was like completely happy in how it ended, but I did enjoy it. It's definitely, you know, a unique story for sure. And y'all, we're gonna get to it. Okay, so we got Bad Girls. Oh my God, Bad Girls. Now this is set in Cuba, and you have these six women. I don't know. Anyway, you have a few women that are all, for some reason or another, are trying to get out of Cuba after stealing this $6 million from these criminal-minded individuals. And you know, there's a lot of death, there's a lot of violence and gore and twists, and you know, you have a lot of jazzy type music in here. It sounds really weird, but it kind of reminds me of those musicals where the music's loud and you have the trumpets playing and there's action that's going along, you know, while this music is playing. That's what this book is. When you read it, you'll see that. Very, very jazzy. And you also have, y'all, okay, you got Pretty Deadly, right? So Pretty Deadly was not my favorite at all. I didn't really understand a lot of it, and the graphics were just really dark and messy, just too much for me. But basically you have Death's daughter is wreaking havoc on Earth and looking for somebody. And it's like a big mashup of like Western and folklore and manga. So I definitely will not be continuing this series, but you know, it may be for somebody, just not for me at all. Okay, I guess I'll have to mention this book here. Okay, so all of these books thus far I read are by women or have at least a central female writer, right? For the graphics. So I picked this one up because I thought the cover was very pretty. It's called Fine Print. And this is just a graphic novel that is an excuse to have a bunch of naked women and sex throughout. Okay, and there's some naked men too. I would say that everybody's beautiful in here, you know. Who wouldn't want to see beautiful people getting it on, you know? But it's about angels and cupids, succubus. No. I could tell this was written by a dude. I'm just not gonna lie. Yeah, definitely not my cup of tea. This is volume 1, and it does continue, but I definitely will not be continuing on with this story here. So now I am currently reading a book I got from NetGalley. It's a graphic novel called Lies My Teacher Told Me. From my understanding, this book actually came out like years ago in just a regular format, and now it's being adapted into a graphic novel. And I am thoroughly enjoying it. It, in a nutshell, tells you that American history has been very whitewashed to be very palatable and easy and to not make certain individuals feel bad. But this one talks about colonialism, it talks about slavery, it talks about sexism, just really in-depth and interesting. Definitely lets me know that my history classes did not do justice to what actually has been happening in the United States. Some of these things I knew and some of these things I did not know, but I highly suggest you take a look at it. If you're really interested in American history, when you're looking at books like Stamped from the Beginning, 1619 Project, books like this, Lies My Teacher Told Me, they kind of put things into perspective. And I, for one, am for the truth and not for sugarcoating things, so I can definitely appreciate something like this, okay? I'm not going to go in depth into this book because I'm not here to just be ranting and raving all day, because I could definitely do it. And this book is definitely something that is very personal to me, so I'm going to keep that to myself. But very good book. If you want to talk about it, message me. So that is March. So I have a total of 18 books that I have read. So I am happy with that. Tons of good graphics. So anyway, let me know what you read in March and how you liked your reading. And if you have any books that are standouts that were written by women, okay? I'm gonna go get my April TBR together. So like, subscribe, give me some comments. I love those. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.